Okay, good morning.
Good morning. Okay, we're in Shinya Gimel, Sif Dalet, dealing with Moisif Binyan, putting in temporary like doors and windows and things. Is that called adding to a binyan? Let's see. Dalet also miluach echad, which ainla a skupa tachtora. Let's say that the door is made out of one plank of wood, or there's no bottom doorstep or whatever. So the way you open it, there's no door frame. Or you open it, you just pull it out and you stick it on the side. Then you can't go ahead and you can't go ahead and close it up, even if it has a tzir. Not that it's on a tzir, but even if it's nicker, that it's technically a door. But al kol panim, it looks like you're making a pesach, and it's not good. As the Rav Gilman explains, it's only this tartar. So one is luach echad, so it looks like you're adding a piece of the wall, and there's no escopa. There's no door frame, so it looks like you're just sticking a piece of the wall up. However, the Chayner Mekel, if it's a normal door, like I said before, everyone knows it sees it's your front door. Then even if you did that, that would be okay. But if you have a door which is made out of old time doors are made out of slats of wood. Even if you completely take it out. If it has a school within crushing harbe, you lock it up with a bunch of beams of wood. And you see there's a hole where you stick the crushing it's a kavua hole. Shedina kedeles, then that's a kavua door. It's not one lua, it's not one thing. It's obviously it's a door because when you want to block up a hole in the wall, so you don't use you just put one piece of wood. But if you're making a doors usually look different. This is enough for it to look different. Shira teva umiga. Now we're getting into the halachos. Now we're moving over to the halachos of kalim, binyan steer of kalim. About doors by kalim. Shira teva umiga shepischei min hatzad. That they have a little, like a small Orach Chaim, things like that. That the door, little cabinet, the door opens from the side. Yesh lahem shnei tzirim, echel lamala, echel lamata, and it has two. The tzir we were talking about is not the regular hinge. Sometimes these small cabinets have the same thing, of the IKEA things, whatever, where you have the little peg on the top and bottom of the little door, and it sticks into the thing. If it comes out, you can't put it back in because maybe you retaka. Now we're going to see in Sivav talks about a bit more of the fact that there's an Isser binyan on kalim. There is an Isser if you are tokeya it. If you go ahead and you stick it in very strong and it doesn't come apart, then there is an Isser there's an Isser deraisa of binyan. And your koshish here that maybe yitaka you're going to stick it in very chazak and be over this deraisa. But in yotza miksasa, if it's coming out a little bit, then you could just knock it back in place. Since the top is still in place, it's not completely binyan. Since the top is in place, it's easy to put the bottom one in. You're not worried you're going to shove it in very hard. And also, if the top's not in, even if the bottom you can push it a bit, you might want to shove it. It's still like zero shove yitaka that you're going to go ahead and force it in permanently. Vav.
When the top one went out, that's talking about the bottom one is still fully in? Or
no, it's also coming out a little bit, and you want to get the little. You can say, I can get the top one. I don't know if I can get the little one back in.
We're always talking about the bottom one.
Talking about the bottom one, right? Mita shalprakim. If you have a bed which comes apart, and also lahachzira ulahadka. All right, you can't go ahead and put it back, and to hadka, you stick it in that it doesn't fall apart. I mean, it could. Taka chayav kata. So I don't know if they have these like cots and different things. They have like a lot of them. They have a metal button that you connect. That could be a problem. That lachar is the same problem because it doesn't come apart unless you do something to it. So then you taka chayav katas, and if you did it, it's chayav katas. V'im hi darkly yosefuyah. But if the derech is you stick it in and it comes apart easily. Mutil chachila, then that's okay. As long as you don't stick it in really hard, but if you just stick it in simply, then that would be okay.
So let's just pause a second. Pack and plays, which some of us are grandparents and some of us have little kids. If you have your grandchild coming and your pack and play is not fully open, the only way you can make the pack and play function is by clicking the little things and they lock in.
But it's not completely apart. It's completely. No, but it's in a frame.
It's in a frame, but the frame
is connected already.
It's completely in pieces. This is there's fabric on that, which it's connected to the fabric. That's a shiloh of fixing it, maybe makam patish, maybe oil. Right. I don't know if it's a shiloh of binyan.
Maybe makam patish,
and maybe makam. I'm not sure. I think we'll get into that, but this is some of the mamish pieces. If you have a coast that comes apart, Muktzah lepark or lachzir b'Shabbos that you put together, because it's not it's not the same type. It's not like you're using a bed. A bed has to be strong. Just a cup. So you're putting it together. It's not going to be a very strong. Chibur. It's not the derech to make it like it's a very strong.
The cups that came apart usually were
a cup with a stand.
Right. So you're putting the stand into the bottom of the cup. It's
not the derech to go ahead and to make it to make it something like very strong. Some say it's no difference, and you're still creating the kli.
Remember the travel cups where they collapse? Collapsible cups?
Yeah.
Right? So those are all connected. Some of you could do that on Shabbos or not.
Right, look, I mean, that's fine.
But if the pieces were all separate and you had to put it together, that would be...
That would be the machlokes, That would be the machlokes here.
Right. It's rafui. So if it's rafui...
It's rafui, it's okay. We're talking about tata, Right. If the derech is like it's screwed in or something, the akshav rafui also. So something is a derech that's screwed in, even though you are allowed to unscrew it. So classic cases of broom handle and a broom head. Right? So it came off. So it's mamish also to go ahead and screw the broom head onto the broom handle. That's shaylos of Issa D'Oraisa. That's mamish also because you just want to sweep the floor. It has to be in well. But let's say sometimes it slips out and whatever. You say, listen, I just need it for a bit. I'm not going to screw it in. I'm just going to stick it in a bit to go ahead and to sweep the floor just a little bit. So that's still usher. Akshav rafu, if it's a derech to do the broom, is to put it in tightly, and therefore the Chachamim said that even if you put it in rafu, it's awesome. If you have a beam which broke, you can go ahead and you can, if you have pieces of your bed, if you have long sticks, whatever, broomstick, let's say, whatever, you're allowed to hold it up. Let's say it's collapsing the ceiling or whatever, you're allowed to stick something underneath to hold it up. Shein kli, they're a kli, lo kadei shetale. You can't do it so you push it back up, to the ceiling. Let's say you can't have it boiner. That's boiner. And the kadeshal tered yosi, if you just put it there to support it gently so it doesn't completely fall down. So also can't be. It's like you shoved it in so tightly that you can't move it, but it has to be. It's balanced enough that you can take it out easily, but it's balanced. It's okay. Also, but if you went ahead and you had to forcibly put it in there and it's tight in, that would be also. Even I guess if you were able to take it out by force, but the point is you can take it out easily, not by force. A bench or a chair where one of the legs came out, also have zero and koimoi. It's also to go ahead and to stick it back in. That we discussed before, that to go ahead and to take, say, half the bench, the legs are off, and we'll leave it on a different bench. Yesh Mishu Machmir Lesor, some are Machmir, V'ayil also in Shinches, where it was about Muktzah, but also it's also unless it was done before Shabbos and used as that, it's also to do on Shabbos. The Kea 8 let's say you have two. Let's say you have. I used to have when a kid. They have these like wooden models, wooden puzzle model, like an animal, or a ship, something like that. So sticking an 8 like putting it into it's not mentioned talking about masmer. Whether you use a screw or you put a nail, bein shetachah be'etz atzmo ad shenisach until it becomes one piece. Raise a total's boina. That is a total of boina. Now we're not talking about, like I said, with the model. We'll get into that. That's binyan arai. So there's shilas by Legos and all these things. Tinker toys, all these things. Lincoln logs. They're just bound. Capital obviously doesn't.
I think Tinker Toys is the biggest problem with them.
Yeah. So
excellent. Or what was
Legos. So the whole discussion about
erector sets.
Erector sets are screws, right? Yeah, but the
erector set is boner.
That is boner. Yeah, could use it as a screw. But let's say Legos. Legos is the classic Shiloh. Tinker Toys, but so there seems to be a machlokes. Some say Legos mamash also. I actually asked about for kids for it, but I think Shulchan Aruch said that since it's a derech to take it apart, that the derech is you want to build it and take it apart. Now, a lot of times they have these like fancy Legos of like the models of the Empire State Building.
So you're talking about Duplo Legos, which is a larger Legos which you use to take and play apart. Then there are these Lego sets which are much, much smaller, which you usually build one single time and generally do not take it apart.
Right, that's what.
So you have two very, very different, distinct types of Legos.
How about let's say the old Lego
the
sets,
old Duplo Legos.
That the stack, you build a wall, you build this, it's there to take it apart. Playmobil. I guess it sort of depends on, obviously building
Playmobil is you build it and then you play with it, you don't take it apart.
Oh, it depends on your kids.
That's true also. But generally you don't take it apart.
Right.
So Tinker Toys, you always take them apart.
Right,
Tinker Toys, you always take it apart, but the problem that the poskim have with Tinker Toys is it's etz la'etz.
Etz la'etz.
Etz la'etz, and it's mamash chiva. So a lot of the poskim say, I don't think I ever saw a poskim say that Tinker Toys were mutter.
Why would it be different from Lego?
No, but
because it's not etz la'etz.
Yeah, but it's I don't know if it's okay, but that's okay. Sorry, we'll have to look into that a bit more. Al-Khopani, but that's the Shiloh by toys. If you're allowed to put straw in a chotzer, it's not called moisif binyan because if you go ahead and you start digging holes or making little mounds of dirt, that's also an issue of binyan. So that's not called moisif binyan until you're starting to build. V'ad yishane, we used to do it shino shelo yizvel lo basal lo b'kupa el shula yakupa. You can't do it with the derech. I guess it was also normal to start building something by putting straw down to dry out the land. I don't know what.
No, that's exactly how they did it.
So
you made wet mud with straw and you caked it in, and that became your foundation, your cement.
Right. So Shevchena v'yavi tevet al shula. You flip the you flip the barrel. You put the tevet over here. The hainu the shiva above biyad also. You can't put it down biyad because that's over the chol.
I don't understand this here.
They would put this. Obviously, if you want to build a hut, right, not a real house, a hut, they would take straw and put it on the ground to make the they stick it out or whatever they would do to dry. It would dry out the mud, make the mud stable.
They would mix the straw with the mud. It was a mixture of straw and mud.
So
they would place some mold around it and they'd let it dry. And that became the foundation for most huts to be raised up.
Right. So the thing is that all the Shulchan Aruch are saying is that you're allowed to put straw to dry it. They don't say that's not mosif binyan. Obviously, the kavanah was for that, but the other problem is it looks like it. So therefore, you have to do it with a shino to show it's not looking like it. So therefore, you can't put it down the regular way they do for binyan with a proper kli, because that would be uvda the chol. And then the Isser Stam, the Isser Uvda the Chol, which is going to come up more often, is that if you do something which is efficient, that's why some places understand it, it's efficient, and it's very efficient, and it's going to feel like Chol, Yom Chol, you're going to come to Malacha, so you're going to make mistakes. Shini Daled was the rough one to start. Okay. Ein binyan ustira b'keli. Well, there's no binyan ustira b'keli pasuk b'silo that by actual kelim, like you're not talking about before you're sticking two pieces of wood together. This is talking about an actual a kli. So let's see what it says. Hadimili she'ena binyan mamish. You're not talking about where you're we had before in the last siman about putting together a closet. Yeah. If you go to chavis, we're talking about by a chavis or a container that we're going to have to start getting into, cans and all these things. Hada she'eno machzekes abayim sa. Obviously, we're not talking about a case of a kli which is not machzek abayim sa. A fridge would be considered a kli machzek abayim sa. A big fridge is machzek abayim sa. So that would be binyan stira by a fridge, maybe. Shenishbar avadibek shvareha b'zefes. They were talking about a chavis which was broken, and you glued it back. What's the zefes? It wasn't, it's glued lightly. Yachlu l'shavra likach mashu b'soicha. In that case, you're allowed to smash it open, and break open a part to take out stuff inside.
But you're not allowed to glue it together on Shabbos.
No, definitely not. But if it's a weak keli that opens very easily, breaks apart or whatever, so then that's mutter to break it open. The problem is if you go ahead and try to make an opening, Pesach, you want to reuse the kli, so you make an opening to take stuff in, put stuff in, out and in. Because then it's not binyan, it's tikkun mana. That's tikkun. That's makar patish. Well, it is shlema, but if it's a whole chavis. Also, the shavra filu binyan she'eno as a kli. It's also to go ahead and smash it to pieces, even if you don't make a kli out of it, because that's stira. And in that case, that it's derabanan. It's aser. The gra seems to be noted. The gra is noted that even that there isn't. It has to be through the shvira that you actually make something out of it, because if you make something out of it, that's called makar patish. With binyan b'kelim, just on as Malchus, we showed him about from Rashi places about binyan b'kelim. Rashi says it's always there's no isser of binyan b'kelim. It's always an isser of makar patish of tikkun maneh. Taisus says no, there is binyan. There is such a thing as binyan. Just you understand that this siman is going to be a lot of overlap between makar patish and binyan, whatever the issue is going to be. The field negev ba'alma also linkloy b'mechadash. And if it had a hole, you can't make it. Remake the hole. Feel yesh b'negev chadash. Even if you have a new hole, ilah harchivo. Also, if you want to open it more, it's also.
So what can you do?
By a whole
If you have at least one hole, you can't make that existing hole bigger. The only thing you can do is make a new hole?
No, you can't make.
What can you do?
Well, for a whole chavis, something you can do. I don't know. You can't break it open. There's something.
Where does ein binyan b'kelim come true?
No, when you have a whole kli.
Yes.
Right, and so therefore, no. So you're allowed, and you go ahead and you smash it open. It's beautiful, machlokes, but you smash it open. And you make it. What you want to where it's mutter or it's also.
Where is it mutter?
It's mutter to go ahead if you go ahead and you it seems to be the hard to say if you make a hole which is not a permanent hole, you just sort of it has to be targeted to terusa that you can't if it's complicated that you can't go ahead and make something which is hachlis lahotzi. Why smashing it open completely is an issue. I think because this sif happens to be a very complicated, very negate sif. And at the end over here, I think we'll pick it up tomorrow because this is going to get into we'll touch upon opening cans and packages and all these things. It's very negate shaila, and we have to understand it, very clear. So
we only have to half of all.
Yeah, half of all. I think I'll go over it a little bit to. This is the kuda. Well, we'll get back to this kuda. Let me finish the sif. And also, it's only if you're trying to kavanah to go ahead and make a proper pesach. If your kavanah is to just tear it open, just make a hole so get stuff out, then that's going to be also. What the Gemara says is that it's only a problem if you go ahead and you make it with that kavanah to make some sort of kli or something like that. However, that the thing is, one second. I'm not sure. I have to try to understand exactly why smashing it open.
So we have different levels of kelim. We have a keli, let's just say like a bag of potato chips.
Right. Okay, we're going to get to that.
No, but it's negaya. Then you have
in a phrase. You can't make any hole, not a new one, not
right. And a whole
if you don't care about the hole, then it's okay. That's where ending is
right. That seems to be what it is. But it's the cool. I'm not fine. I'm getting stuck on the.
Apparently used for long-term storage and they can be reused also.
Right. So that's
right.
I just don't understand why it's
very important. Klicha shel They were very, very important.
Right. Hagam Mavach right. And if a knife was stuck in before Shabbos, you're allowed to stick it in and out, even though there's an opening. If you're not trying to noise it, you're sticking it in and out. That's only if you put it in and out before Shabbos. But also, because then you're making a new hole. That you're making an opening for a chavis, and there, that's an issue. That's awesome. If you have a kli which is breaking apart, if you're allowed to take a piece of the cheres to go ahead, that's discussed over there. Now, this is just suffice. We'll discuss a little bit about the opening packages and stuff and whatever. A lot of Chazon Ish really got into this, and a lot of us it based on the Chazon Ish. That opening can with back in his time it was cans. It wasn't bags of potato chips. He held that opening that there's no stira by opening something which you're going to throw out. The problem is that if you're going to go ahead and you open something you want to reuse, that's going to be a problem. But if you open something which you're going to throw out right away, that's not called making a pesach, and therefore that's not stira, and that will be mutter under certain t'naim. And the Chazon, I think it's a machlokes. The Chazon Ish held you have to go ahead and you have to break it completely,
right,
or make a hole in the bottom of the can.
So that it can't be a keli.
Yeah, but big enough to possible from a kli which is machlis or motzi. That it has to be not a little teeny pinprick, but it has to be big enough that water can go into it also. And then that would go ahead and master to go ahead and open it up. Shabbos I think was more makel that you don't so if you throw it out right away you don't necessarily have to. By soda cans there's a problem with machatich also. By opening in that right spot there might be a problem with machatich if that is there.
In the poskim, I remember reading, if I just don't join it, there's two types of ways of making these types of kelim. One is the whole keli is made, and then you open the actual keli. The other one is where you have two pieces. You have
that's later on. So that's later on. That's right.
Negaya to both.
Right. We're going to get to that. That's later in the siman. This is again to whole packages. Opening back. Obviously, when it comes to writing, there's a shaila of the chika. Although I think Ravaji Yosef was makel when it comes to Hil Doshin and Miskavin and whatever, but Al-Kapanim, a lot of people are machmir, that you should, when you open the thing with bags of potato chips and things like that, some say it's not even a real kli, because you're not planning to reuse it, and that's even less than a can, than a can, and some say it's completely mutter to open the top and whatever. It's still better, Chazon Ish, you should destroy it, even you open it, you have to destroy it. So you slice it down the side by say popsicle wrappers and things like that. It's not even a kli really. That's just like peeling it. It says opening. It's not. That's nothing. There is a discussion by shlukim they have here in this country, which when you break it in half, you're making two keli because the plastic is hard enough that it holds the ice. So that's making a kli. That would be tikkun mana, and some places are makel. I don't know, but I know that.
What is that you describing now?
Icy pop.
It's a type of icy pop that comes with two sections. The center of the icy pop is something that you break apart, and then you have two icy pops, but they're sitting in a very durable plastic type of apparatus that holds the icy pop.
It's not just like a wrapper. It's an actual.
It's a little bit more chashuv.
For overtime.
Yeah.
We're actually 25 minutes, but we could.
Let me just. Is there any other nakuda about the kalim? I think that's. I mean, listen. Obviously, you can get into there's
industrial
reams
rice sacks. These rice sacks and these sugar sacks where you pull out a thread. That's a problem.
Opens the Pesach, right? Opens a good Pesach, and it is the opening pill things. Is that is okay. Listen, the problem is always words printed on the other side. But if you if there's this and you pop it open, that's not making it clean because you're not reusable. So that's a general kivun when it comes to opening packages, and have to get into a few of the nakudas about being stiri kalim tomorrow, or whatever. So,